Hey, welcome to the Popcorn Perspective. I hope you had a fantastic May so far. Hope you had a great May the 4th. We tried the 7th. Oh, we're trying the 6th, is it? Yeah, we're trying the 6th. And then I hope you enjoy the final episodes of Bad Batch and Tale of the Empire. I've had a lot of time to mull over each episode as something just did not sit right with me regarding either project. I was thoroughly invested in the whole Bad Batch series. I loved Tales of the Jedi, so I had high hopes for Tales of the Empire. Though something just felt off. Um, Perhaps it's just me being selfish and wanting more, or perhaps I expected more. That said, overall, I was pleased with what we had, though I wanted, or I felt like there was more that was left on the editing table, unfortunately. Um, so before I go into my slight issue, complaint, or concerns, let's dive into both shows respectively: Bad Batch season 3 and Tales of the Empire. This is going to be a spoiler dive on both shows as a whole. So if you're not seeing either shows, pause this video, go to Disney Plus, check it out. It's worth your time, trust me. So, wow, what a beautiful, gorgeous ending for Bad Batch. The animation style for each episode of season 3, I feel like just was 10 times better than the previous episode. Disney was definitely flexing their animation quality, showcasing how much better it has gotten since the old Cartoon Network days. Seeing Omega lead a daring escape with the midichlorian Count kids while using the Zillibees to wreak havoc on Mount Tantress was one of the best damn things to watch. It was so pleasing. Seeing Echo and Emery work together from Tantris to allow the clones and the prisoners to have a way off the mountain was also wonderful to see. Echo having to learn to trust Emery, uh, somebody he has no reason to trust. So I thought it was really well done. Seeing how Crosshair has to once again learn to work with his brothers to support the injured Wrecker as they enter the mountain was also really engaging. Seeing an injured Wrecker literally on his huffing and puffing, his barely being able to climb up the mountain, still able to save his brothers when necessary. Just the way he went ham on this Clone Trooper X was also really engaging, really fun to watch. Every plot and structure was super well handled, super engaging, super fun, super entertaining. The music cues from the Kinders, 10 out of 10. The animation quality, amazing. The destruction with the Zilla Beast, chef's kiss. My biggest issue, though, is a lot of these dropped arcs or lost storylines. Perhaps I was just anticipating more than what they originally planned on giving us. But like questions as of where is Commander Cody? We last saw Cody in season 2 when he left the Empire, and we have not seen him since. Where is Ventress? What was the point of resurrecting Ventress? Changing her very sad death from Dark Disciples and bring her back to life. What was the point of that when she's only in it for half an episode, potentially teasing up a training with Omega, but that went nowhere? Um, what was up with Clone Troopers X? I'm guessing Clone Troopers X is kind of pushing into what was going on in Mandalorian season 3 with the Dark Troopers, though there's a lot of disconnect there. So, what was the point of Clone Trooper X? No Darth Vader, no Emperor in that final episode. Where was the Inquisitors? We know they have M Count kids locked up in Mount Tantris. You expect a couple of Inquisitors to be rolling around because that's the goal of the Inquisitors was to hunt and capture and basically integrate the M Count kids into the Empire. Um, so where were they? And what was up with all the monsters of the week, the test subjects of the Empire? Every episode for the season, for the most part, we had a monster, something that was tested on by the Empire. I was hoping we get to delve more into what the Empire was doing with all these monsters, with all these beasts. Um, a lot of the questions, like a lot of these questions, is maybe double thinking about this episode and about the season as a whole. So I went ahead and rewatched all of season 3. Uh, Taking into account my questions, I just labeled in to you guys, and went ahead and thought to myself, was the show wanting us to think these questions, or the show just more or less about the family of the Bad Batch itself? What I think this season was super strong on was the character development of Omega and Crosshair. I think they made Omega from a decently likable kid character to, in my opinion, one of my favorite Star Wars characters as a whole. She's definitely my top 10 at this point. Crosshair is the same way. Crosshair and Omega being in my top 10 for only having 3 seasons of shows shows you how well done those two characters were. Though I felt like nothing unfortunately happened in this season. We start off with Omega and Crosshair escaping Mount Tantarus, only for Omega to get recaptured and the kids and the gang rescuing her and all the clones and the kids, and they live happy ever after. On paper, it makes sense, though that alone could have been like a 4 episode, 5 episode show. You stretching this episode, or you said stretching the season out, so you have a lot of these loose plot threads with Ventress training Omega for 1 episode to test if she has the midichlorians. But with all the supporting cast throughout the 3 seasons, I feel like a lot of the characters were just underused or criminally forgotten. We've had Fee. Unfortunately, she was only in like an episode of the season with like 3 lines of dialogue. We didn't get to see Fee mourn the loss of Tech. We didn't really see Fee really do much with the Bad Batch. I was really hoping she'd be more like a mother figure to Omega this season. Or even Sid. I know we all don't like Sid. I know a lot of people hate the character of Sid. I enjoyed her from the first season. Thought she was decent the second season. I at least wanted to see her once last time, whether it be the Bad Batch confronting her finally, or maybe her coming in clutch and rescuing the Bad Batch, just something to redeem or complete the Sid storyline. Um, as I mentioned earlier, why retcon Ventress? Her death and Dark's Disciples was so damn touching, so well done, so emotionally uh, thrilling. I felt like if you're going to bring her in for an episode where she doesn't really do anything, y'all could have brought in any other Jedi. Bring in Cal Kestis for that scene. Bring in Ashoka for that scene. Hell, they could have done that with any other Jedi that we know is living. Um, I love the character. Just expected more from her. Um, Overall, if it wasn't for that end tag, I think I might have been mildly upset with the finale. Just because in my head I was thinking of all these questions. But that end tag, I will say, that is what got me. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely shed a tear when I saw um, gray-haired Crosshair. I apologize, not Crosshair. Gray-haired Hunter and older Omega just talking in the cave of Pontu. Just seeing them, Pabu, just seeing them talk about what happened. And Omega wanted to go out on her own and fight the Empire with the rebellion. That was so beautifully done. And there's so much that can go off that. Can we get an Omega spin-off show now? Can we get maybe Omega and Hera co-piloting the Phantom together? Like I said, there's so much ways they can go with the whole Omega storyline here on out. Though it just makes me wonder where was the whole point of bringing her up with M count? Why even make her that Chekhov's gun? Not even a check. I don't know. Maybe plot device, plot point that didn't really go anywhere. Why make her a candidate for M count? I truly thought they were going to go the route of she is somehow Ray Palpatine's mom, but I'm glad they didn't go that route. Though they could have gone any route with the idea of Omega having some midichlorian connection. Overall, I thought the season itself was the worst of the 3, which does not mean it was a bad season. I just wanted more from it, and I think this would have been a great penultimate season, with a season 4 being the final. Um, though overall, I think season three was easily around a I want to say maybe a 7.5. Maybe I would say 7.5 out of 10. It had some amazing moments that just unfortunately was not really stretched out upon. But when it hit hard. Um, that said, like I said earlier, I really hope we get more Omega in the gang sooner rather than later. Perhaps maybe Disney do this. Tales of the Rebellion, a 3 episode arc of Omega joining the rebellion, maybe potentially fighting with Hera, beating Ezra, uh, fighting on Endor, or maybe perhaps fighting in disguise of Jakku. I don't know. I'll sign up for it. Like I said, overall, I enjoyed season three. Week by week, it was very fun to watch and theorize with the people on Twitter, with the fan base on Reddit. I just felt like I said something was missing. If we look at all the other animated shows finale, Clone Wars season seven, Rebels season four, everything felt earned. Everything felt like it had a consequence. There was a cause and effect. The consequence of destroying Mount Tantris was more funding for Project Stardust, which, don't get me wrong, the Death Star is a terrifying object, but I feel like in reality, Palpatine will probably get doubled down on his cloning projects and double down on his protection and security versus working with potentially funding the Death Star more. I don't know. Something's there. I can't put my finger on it. Perhaps y'all can. Overall, the highs of this season is definitely the animation, the kindness, music, amazing. Obviously, the voices from D. Bradley Baker, Michelle Ang, 10 out of 10. They are some of the best voice actors. Definitely D. Bradley Baker. Michelle Ang, I want to see more from her. Um, I just want more of the group. Season 3, like I said, 7.5. Really wish we had a season 4 to close up these arcs, but from what we got, I can't complain, I guess. Now on to Tales of the Empire. Wow. I was just gushing over the Bad Batch finale, but animation, but holy shit. There is no need for Disney to go all out with the Tales of the Empire animation. Just seeing General Grievous and the droid invasion on Dathomir was intense. That was epic, scary even. Something that I did not feel when I watched the Clone Wars invasion arc. I just felt like, it was whatever, but the animation quality just was not there. The animation, seeing the red of the fire, seeing the lightsaber's reflection, seeing how Morgan Elsbeth just hiding in the trees, watching her sisters get slain. It was so gripping, so well done. Though I feel like, oddly enough, the Morgan Elsbeth storyline worked better than Beerus. Let me explain. I think due to the fact that we understood Elsbeth through Ashoka, that we can now go back to see how it led to Elspeth wanting to resurrect the Dathomirs, the witches of Dathomirs. Seeing how everything in her life was kind of stripped away from her. Her family died. Her town, her city, her home destroyed by by the Clone Wars. Unfortunately, they were just for victims of the Clone Wars itself. Seeing General Grievous just wreak havoc on them. Then seeing how when she gets old, seeing the mountain clans of her planet turn their backs on her because she has so much rage and so much anger within her. So they turn her back, basically just orphaning her into the galaxy. She has nobody to back her up. No friends, no family, no loved ones, no resemblance of society. And then we see, flashing forward some, seeing how she tried to rule a city, a planet. Um, she truly wanted to help the citizens, but only for the citizens to turn her back on her the moment she failed doing what she promised him. She promised him wealth, jobs, security, home, and unfortunately, the Empire just wanted to use the planet for the resources that they have. and immediately the citizens turn her back on her. Her growing aggressive, even worse of a human. She at this point she's shutting everyone out. She's being more just angry, and we all know that anger will lead to the dark side. And seeing how she meeting Thrawn and Thrawn's ambition and Thrawn's understanding of Morgan Elsbeth as a person is why Morgan Elsbeth is so loyal to Thrawn in the Ashoka and Mandalorian TV shows. So I think the Morgan Elsbeth show on a whole just works so much better than unfortunately the Barris Offie storyline. Um, with Barris, I've waited 10 years to get more of her, only for her to potentially die. That was unsatisfactory. She's such a unique character, someone who's radicalized during the war, someone who immediately joins the dark side to bomb the Jedi Temple, blaming her peers and her friend Ashoka on the bombing. She was manipulated by Sidious. She was manipulated by the forces of the war and her dissociation of the Clone Wars itself, only for her to immediately join the Inquisitors, which we saw, which I thought was such a great episode. But then only for her to leave the Inquisitorial like within an episode later, which was not earned. I wanted to see her have a push and a pull force. If you remember in the Clone Wars arc, she had a lot of pull to the dark side. Hell, she had that amazing battle, the fight scene with Anakin Skywalker when she had the red lightsabers, Ventress's lightsabers, honestly, which was such a cool scene. In this show, immediately when she gets joined into the Inquisitors, and she immediately has a push back into the light side, but there's no pull back into the dark side for her. She immediately was dissociated with the dark side after seeing her mentor, the fourth sister, basically commit a genocide, and she immediately breaks away from the empire and goes into hiding. And then we see her as a hermit next the following episode, older Bears Offie, who is helping those who are left forgotten by the empire and helping them find a new home. Everything about that sounds like a great story, but when you only have a 15 minutes to do each episode, 15 minutes before joining the Inquisitors, 15 minutes before leaving the Inquisitors, 15 minutes before being a hermit, living on a planet, helping refugees out, I felt like a lot was missing. She slightly name drops Ashoka by saying that I have a friend who could help you. But wouldn't it be even better of a storyline if in that episode 5 it was her versus Ashoka? Let's say Ashoka knocks out the fourth sister, and then Barris and Ashoka has to duel, only for Barris to take off a mask after seeing Ashoka with the white lightsabers, looking just sad and just broken away from society, and just Barris taking off a mask and sympathizing with Ashoka, saying this is not the path I want to go either, and potentially both of them having that one-on-one that we need. We need to see Ashoka and Barris have that apology, have the reunion. We know Ashoka will immediately apologize to Barris, and that itself, Ashoka apologizing to Barris, could be a pull to the light side that Barris is needed. Unfortunately, I felt like it was just not earned. Her turning into a hermit just felt like it was not. I just felt like it was not earned. I felt like a Barris needed. There's more for the Barris storyline. So I just feel like, unfortunately, with the Elspeth storyline being the high and the Bears storyline just being the low of the season, it made me feel like Tilted Empire, unfortunately, was just nowhere near the quality of Tilted the Jedi. It did its job, leaving me wanting more. But I feel like with them potentially killing off Barris, kind of defeats any potential future season or future arc with Barris Offee as an adult, which kind of saddens me because I definitely liked that character a lot. Even though she was only in a handful of episodes throughout the Clone Wars, I definitely liked her and Ashoka's back and forth. Uh, and it just felt like, unfortunately, just having Barris there for the sake of being there just felt like it was missing. I think having a 3 episode arc with the Grand Inquisitor would have been 10 times better. That's just my opinion. It's called Tales of the Empire, not Tales of those who left the Empire. That said, same thing like I said earlier, the voice acting, amazing. The Kinder's music scores, amazing. The visuals, great. Morgan Elsbeth storyline, I loved. I just felt like Barris' Offie storyline needed a lot more love. So I think of Tilted Empire, I would say maybe a 6.5 out of 10, pushing maybe a 7. I might even give it a 7 just for the music. The Kinders definitely understand Star Wars, and I definitely think they've grown so much since the Clone Wars series to now. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Really, we just want to see Barris' Offie's storyline fleshed out more. I hope she's not dead, but that's unfortunately the issue with Disney's era of Star Wars. I feel like they don't really stay dead. I'll leave it at that. Let me know what y'all think about these two series. Did you agree? Did you love the Bad Batch season 3? Did you have the same issues, the same complaints as I did with season 3 of Bad Batch? What about Tales of the Empire? Did you want more? Which characters would you want to see next season of? To do Tales of the Empire season 2, or potentially Tales of the Jedi season 2? Which Jedi, which Empire, or which Sith would you like to see more fleshed out? Like, comment, subscribe. Remember, the force is with us all. Love y'all.